Every generation produces individuals who would challenge society's assumptions. Sometimes it becomes a revolution. Sometimes it is what the path of Mahatma Gandhi had chosen, non-violence. Sometimes it's simply by refusing to give up on the right to exist with their own identity. The guest that we have today is one such person, Ms. Sana Suman. Just to give a context, imagine being told repeatedly that who you are is wrong, or imagine being denied acceptance within your own closed circles, probably in the education space, or when you go for employment, or in institutions, or even by the law. Now imagine not merely surviving that experience, but transforming and influencing a movement that creates opportunities for countless others. And that is exactly what the guest for today, Sana Suman, has done. Sana, when people see you today, you have many caps that you wear. You are an HR manager, you are a social activist, you are an advocate for an entire community. But before all these labels came to you, there was a very simple young person who was trying to understand the identity, was struggling or rather battling from the conversation that we have had earlier or from what I've read about you. So when you look back today, what is the earliest memory that made you realize that your experience of the world or your experience of the life is totally different from the society or what is expected out of you by the society? What was that initial phase when you realized that you're different?
See, actually, how generally a baby is born, generally, if they categorize between a boy baby and a girl baby. So, same thing, I born to my parents as a third boy baby child, as per my parents. This
Probably
thing.
the medical records.
Exactly. So they celebrated that we have a third boy baby child, and with lot of celebrations, because you know how India is actually, if you give a birth to a boy baby child, they celebrate actually.
Yeah.
So in that context, actually, they were very happy, and just quote this, that they were happy. And followed with that, same thing, they had their own dreams that wanted to impose on me.
Yeah.
Like my son should become kind of a engineer, and he has to be need to play sports like a cricket. So these things were like literally were actually were forcing me to do by my parents. And with that, actually, day by day, my feminine characters started coming out, like by expressing my dress codes, and my preferences will be more to a feminine characters, and I used to be more with my sister. So that actually were actually made my parents were not happy, because what they were dreaming, and I was opposite for that, and they don't want me to take such activities like what I was interested on it.
Okay.
So then followed with that, actually, they were like always they used to pressure me, they used to tell me not to do this, not to do. So I was little depressed with that. So that's how my journey of my depression life actually started, where I never used to be happy when the family gatherings were there. Because my they used to say, no, you behave like a feminine, you behave like a girl, you should not come in front of the family gatherings, because people might mock at you, people might tease at you. That's how the family itself made me to exclude with the family, like not to involve into different activities what the families were organizing. So that's how I was like made myself to be more away from the people, like with the siblings, with the parents, with the grandparents, and with the neighborhoods. Everything I was away. So that's how I never even I was open up to enjoy my family happiness, love from the parents, or what they used to show the love to my own siblings. That was not given to me because they were not happy with what I was.
Yeah.
Because they always, because this is a story of 15 years or 20 years back.
Right.
Because you know how the society was that time.
Right.
So it was very difficult to understand the communities. Awareness was very less of the
Yes.
communities. So with this journey, I was always been excluded, and I was very active and I was very hyper child. But later, day by day, I was actually started to become introvert person, and because I was very not so active, because always demotivating within the family, and always they used to restrict me not to do, because always they used to give me what I was not interested. So that's how the whole society was actually wanted their happiness onto me. Like what they were wishing, and that wish wanted to, I mean, they wanted to impose on me, and I want to react with that. So, but I was not happy, and I was not willing to take that also, because my interest was not towards that.
Right.
So that's how I was not very comfortable with the society structure and with the society people, because when I used to open up my voice, and if I start talking, and they used to immediately react, oh, what is this? This is something feminine voice coming into a male body, from a male boy child voice. So that kind of always, when you talk, when you walk, when you sing, when you dance, everything, people used to mock at you. They used to discriminate, saying that, oh, you like a girl, you, I mean, I am saying very decently now, oh, you are like a girl, but they used to tease into certain derogatory words, like you are a koja, chakka, hijida, like that they used to tell. But that always, it used to hurt me.
Right.
I am not that person. So why you people calling me?
But
that
for you,
names?
it was your self-expression. But for others, it was perceived differently.
Correct.
And what age was this change, became evident in you?
See, I don't restrict on certain age, because like generally a boy and a girl, what age they realize that I am a girl, I have to cover my breast and vagina. So in that context, how they realize themselves at the same age itself, like at the age of 10, you can say generally that what your gender is, what is your sex is. So at same age, I started to realize myself that my parents used to tell me that you are a boy. But for me, inside, I used to feel that I am a feminine. I used to feel, and I used to have enjoy myself as a girl. I always admire on the heroines dance, and the heroines. Whenever people used to ask which hero you like, which heroine you like, I always say that I like heroines. No, I don't like hero. So that means my always inner feeling was very different. Because of my parents, I used to pretend myself as a boy. So at the age of 10, I started to realize myself that what my feelings were there.
Right. So many people speak about discrimination in a quite an abstract form, but discrimination often begins probably, as you said, at the family. Then when you get into a school or an academic institution there, then later on in an employment space, and sometimes in the neighborhoods, in the community. So what were some of those hard-hitting experiences, if you may, wish to share in your childhood that still stays with you, because that is what made you what you're today. That is probably something that empowered you to be an activist or whatever, as a manager or as an HR, that made what you are today.
See, generally, people will talk about the child sexual abuse and child harassment on the a girl child mostly.
Right, right.
So when I was at the age of 10, I am a boy baby child. Okay, I am a boy child.
Yeah.
So still I am a child. So I was actually I had a sexual harassment by my own uncle. He used to touch me. He used to actually he used to pull me, and he used to make me to sit on his lap. So and I obviously he used to like do that sexual behavior with me, and he used to rub behind, make me to stand, and he used to rub. That was sexually, it was a harassment for me. So at that age, I didn't know what was that.
Right.
So and I thought that my uncle is doing something with me. He's I think he's loving me. Something I understood in different way.
But you were too early to, I mean, too young to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what is sex that age. And I even didn't know that what is my gender and what I am. Am I feminine? This terms, everything, I was not at all aware of that age. So my uncle started sexually harassing me, and he abused me. So I couldn't, I was not happy with that. So when I brought this to my parents, and I said this, that uncle is doing, he's misbehaving with me. And I don't know how to communicate also. I don't know. I didn't even... I don't know, my uncle he's erected, and he is actually wanted to rub behind me, and he's touching my breast. I don't know, because my parents had thought saying that always men will harass girl, and the rape will happen between a man and a woman. This kind of news I have heard, and parents have spoken about. So I was like taught certain things. I didn't even heard about a man will harass a boy child. Between that also, I was not aware. So when I brought this to my mother, and my mother was saying that, hey, what your rubbish you're talking. You don't know what you should not talk all those things. Shut up your mouth. And she literally made me to shut my mouth. So I don't know now how to express my feelings.
But I think it is all also because of the lack of awareness among those generations.
Correct.
As you said, this would have happened around 10, 20 years back. And I think that's why this conversation is very important. One of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation is to spread awareness.
Correct.
Talk about this.
Yes.
Let's be open about this, so that there is a larger repercussion, or rather a larger implication of our conversation. So one thing which I've noticed is that there is a difference between loneliness and isolation. When you say loneliness, you are lonely when nobody is around.
Correct.
Isolation is when there are everyone around, but you still feel isolated. Now, how did you navigate that emotional landscape of being isolated? Because I can even imagine you have already spoken about how you felt isolated even while you were with your family.
Correct.
When you have these kind of experiences, you felt there. Probably in your school you might have had. So how did you navigate that emotional, if I may even say, trauma that you've been through?
See, actually, yes, I would agree for this because I was isolated within the society, like family structure, parents, everything. I was isolated, and that made me to push me to be lonely. Be loneliness within myself, and also made me to be to get into more depressed. And at the age of 15, I was so much of depressed because I couldn't even had an opportunity to express my feelings, and always I was being punished. Every time the people used to whatever I used to express, that for that I was rewarding by the punishment. So what happened, the same thing, I couldn't tolerate. My depression level was very high, and so what I decided to, like, I should why should I need to leave when parents, they don't love, and society is not accepting, and I don't have a chance to share my feelings. What I did is, like, I tried to commit a suicide at the age of 15.
1/5, 15.
Yes, 1/5. And that's how I have seen many films, and I know how people die, like they tie a sari in the fan and tie another edge into their neck. But unfortunately, I didn't know the measurement from fan to my neck. People, yeah. So that what I did is, one side I tied to a fan, and another edge I tied to my neck, and I stood on a stool and I jumped it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I didn't die because I didn't hang it, because the measurement was actually. I have left more the gap between the fan and my neck, and I was jumped and I was actually standing on the.
That's why we could have this conversation.
Exactly. So that level actually it went. Imagine a 15-year-old child is deciding to commit a suicide and want to leave the life, means how much of depression the child would have undergone actually.
Right.
So that is the one of the example I always say that people laugh at the sharings, but I say that look on the pain that I have undergone. What if I would have died on that day? If that measurement would have been calculated properly, then one child by depression, by the society's discrimination and the stigma that I have faced it. So I would have lost my life, right?
Exactly.
So then how, where will I share? So I think that's very important, that even there should be awareness between the parents also, because when a child is wanted to share something, please listen to that child. Rather, don't shut the mouth of the child, and at least try to hear what the child is wanted to share.
Right.
So that opportunity, if you need to give for every child, then obviously then you will get into a normal life for the child.
Right. So you spoke about awareness. Now, do we in the current academic system, in the curriculum, or as part of the general holistic education, is there anything that we teach our children about the community that you represent, or is it still a big vacuum there?
See, actually, I think people always been more gender biased. Actually, when you teach, also, they fix into two binaries. Not like one is always take examples of man, and say take examples of a woman.
But there's further, which is bothering for me, is first gender and second gender. Again, there is a huge categorization that I once had this question. Then tell me who made this gender. Right.
So the society makes this gender, this thing, and so I think bring a chapter for the transgender.
Currently, we don't have.
We don't have it,
neither in the state syllabus or in the central.
Nothing actually, zero. You see, first of all, actually, in my own college, I studied one of a subject is sociology.
Right.
So
you studied at St. Joseph?
St. Joseph College I studied.
Right.
So my sociology teacher always talk about the Dalit, Adivasis, because they feel like women, children. These are the like socially backward community, and they used to bring this people's example, this community's example.
Yeah.
So I was wondering actually why a community of a transgender community is also
never represented.
Very vulnerable community. They are also minority community, and we also face double discriminations. And I think why the teachers are not using such examples. I think it's very important to bring that certain of examples and bring the community existence of the community in the society. So that is also very important.
I think it should start right from the kindergarten itself.
Exactly. Bring some transgender, make the transgender to I did one. I went to one school, and I was given a story book to me.
Okay.
And they asked me to read that story and to teach for the kids. So that kind of inclusivity, I think we should bring it.
Great.
Like example, you can talk about the transgender things, because already there is a notion in the society that transgenders are kidnappers, transgenders are sex workers.
Because that's how the media is also portraying
Exactly, they
in the
have portrayed.
films, in the serials, in web series. That's how it gets portrayed.
Exactly. So same thing, it is actually copied and pasted with every of the upcoming people also. So I think that if we want to break that kind of this thing, miscommunication, I think bring out certain examples, like live examples of the community who have actually achieved. Like one of I have also achieved, because in my own college, St. Joseph College, they were actually hesitated to give me an admission. And actually, usually for the college admissions, they start in June. But I was actually given a proper admission in the August.
Okay.
By the time one semester actually they had completed. So why this 3 month of gap means, because they had a multiple interview with me.
Okay.
Why? Because they didn't had any kind of experience of a transgender community person, students got admission in the college. So they are very much worried, because already there is a kind of notion that, oh, transgenders are sex workers. If you give admission, then she will start doing sex work within the campus, all those kind of. So I break that kind of notion. So I sustained there. I completed my 5 years of education. So that's how I proved them, saying that they are wrong. How that I finished my bachelor degree, I finished my master's degree, and today there are so many transgender community have got admission, because already I have initiated that kind of I have set a model over there.
You build that trust in the system.
Exactly. Because already they say that you fit for sex work, you fit for begging. Only this is the area of the transgender community. I have proved them, no, this is only not the area. We are beyond of that. We can work, we can actually study, we can actually stay in the college. So I have proved. I was a class representative, I was a college rep, I was a cultural rep. So I have initiated certain changes, and that challenges I have actually taken. Why? Because I have made a way, a space for the other community, so that they can also come inside. Because already there is a wall which has been created with this kind of norms, that the transgenders are these kind of with this kind of behavior. So I proved them, saying that no, we also human being. When you treat as a human being, actually we will also change our behavior. So that's how actually I have proved, and I have I've taken that initiative. And today, if you go to St. Joseph College, there are so many transgender people actually doing their educations, and the teachers are actually taking my example. So they are referring me, and always they say, Sana, who studied in this college, she was a cultural rep, and she was a very good student. She used to be regular to college. All these examples they give, and that's how they motivate other trans people also. So when other transgenders saw me going college, regular college, wearing a bag and wearing a churidar, and going for a college, doing assignments I was within the community. So we were like 5 to 6 community. All 4 used to go for a sex work. Among 4 sex worker, I was only one student. I was not going for a sex work. And I used to, these people get ready for going for a sex work. I used to get ready and pack my lunch, and I used to go for a college.
I think we missed a part there. You spoke about the failure, your attempt of committing suicide.
Correct.
Now, we are also talking about your success story as a student, and you have set a model. But somewhere in between, what happened? What was that point at which you understood that your future could be different from what you are currently? Because I understand that you might have separated from your family as well.
Correct.
So what was that point at which you decided to take up education? You wanted to make your future better than, because you said all other were into something else, but you pursued education.
Actually, this society only taught me kind of different experiences they have taught me. Like one is I was also a sex worker. My parents, what they said is like, if you continue behaving like this, I think you have a sister, you have brother, so they will not get married if you are behaving like this.
Yeah.
So should I see the 2 number or should I see you 1? So you decide, they said.
Okay.
So what that means is like either you should be or we should be. So then I said that, see, always transgenders are always, they sacrifice. We are actually looking for a love, care for those things. Always emotionally we will be very weak actually. In that case, what I did is I think my parents are I think they should leave. My sister and my brother, life is important than mine, because that's how society has taught. Because transgenders,
we can't blame them also fully.
Exactly, transgenders are nothing. They are waste, they are beggars, they are sex workers. So they have actually feeded these kind of words on me, to me also. So then I felt I am a waste. So they can actually survive. They are useful. They are very good. You people enjoy. That's how I decided. My parents didn't say that you leave the house. But actually, indirectly, they communicated saying that better whatever decision you are taking, it's for a good. So I left the house and I was outside from my family. And now the society is something very strange for me. I couldn't stay in this whole society because always people see differently. Hey, there is a Koja is coming. That kind of mocking, it is not so easy actually. Because I am a child. Now I finished my SLC and I was under my parents' shelter. So now suddenly, if you are coming out by independently, it is not so easy for you. And that's how the society first actually, one person approached that I will have a sex with you and I will give you 50 rupees. But because for me that 50 rupees was a big amount for me. Because
at that time,
because
there's nobody to support.
Because someone is offering you 50 rupees and you are hungry also, like you have to fulfill your hunger also. So in that case I said, okay, let me have that 50 rupees. So that's how the society taught me how to do a sex work. I didn't went in search of going to do a sex work. So society taught me that come sex work doing, you will get a money. So I was doing for sex work for nearly 3 years. I was not happy with doing sex work. It's like 24 hours of doing sex work and there is no gap. And whatever the sex work money you used to earn, that all money you used to give to your gharwali only. Like the head of the brothel person. So what they say is...
How much do you get? Like...
See what
is it like a percentage or...
Correct. So now example, if I earn for a client for 300 rupees, I will be attending around some 15 to 20 clients. Imagine that small child is attending with so much of clients and you earn for around some 2,000, 3,000 rupees per day. And these amounts were given to your gharwalis. Why? Because why they used to take is like, they say that I give you food, I give you clothes, shelter. And I give you a shelter, and what else you want? They used to tell these things. Because yes, that was true. Because they used to give all this thing, and that place was a shelter that I felt that if I go outside, people might rape me, people might hurt me, people will discriminate me, people will not accept me. So where will I go? I think this place is the safest place, I think. Compared to that, I think this will be better. So it is something you decide consciously, that you decide, okay, let me stay here for a while. Or okay, I will stay here. That's how you decide to stay in your brothels and being a sex workers. So doing with the sex work, I was not happy. Why? Because this period itself, I undergone a sex reassignment surgery also,
Okay.
because
And those were all taken care by that.
yes,
Okay.
with this money itself, because that's how they say, no, like whatever you earn, you give it to us, and we will take care of your daily this thing, what demands, whatever you have it, needs, whatever you have, that we will take care. And so I used to do sex work, give money, they used to take, and even happily, you will not have a 10 rupees or 100 rupees in your pocket, so that for you willingly to buy an ice cream or a chocolate, and you can't willingly eat yourself. So always you have to go ask for a money, and that from that money they will have 100 of questions and convince what all you should do. For a 10 rupees ice cream, you literally you have to beg with the people.
Let's switch to the education part of it. How has the education given you an identity, probably redefined your confidence, how other people have perceived you?
See, that's how I said, no, like the society saw me as a sex worker, society saw me as a beggar, society saw me as nothing fit for anything, like that. Oh, this person is, oh, chalo, this is nothing, it's a waste person. And that's how the society started seeing me. And I felt that why people are seeing me in that view.
Yeah.
And I'm not a beggar. And sex work is also why I'm doing it, because of my need that I have it. So it's not that I have chosen it everything. And why people are blaming on me and saying that you people are doing this. So that's how I actually experienced when I wanted to join a job. So that job, actually they denied me for giving me a job.
Because of lack of a certificate, higher education.
It's a certificate, plus also being a transgender identity person. One is you are a transgender person.
Right.
So the first job, they said you are a transgender and we don't give you the job. And second job, I went and asked for in the food world. Earlier there was a food world.
Okay.
Like how we have this big bazaar kind of. Earlier we used to have a food world.
Okay.
So I went for food world. They appointed me as a girl. But after the appointment interview attended, they gave me appointment letter, and I have to submit my documents in 10 days. So when I submitted all my male certificate, they got to know that I am not a girl, I am a transgender person. And that immediately they said, we are actually firing you, and we are actually we don't have that policy to appoint a transgender person. Why? Because if we appoint you, because no customers will come. So all these things made me very much kind of strongly that I want to do something against of these people, against of this kind of experience, what I should do. Then I decided, I think education
is the real empowerment.
Exactly. Then why? Because I have seen people achieving they have done a double degree and got appointment in high class companies, and people educate and they get admissions. People do a lot of educations and they get very dignified jobs in the society. So I saw all these things, and already I have done my educations, like I have completed my PUC level. So I have that little background, so that I felt that I can continue my education. So at least if I do degree, I think I will get a job. So that is how I got motivated, and it was not easy for me also. And I tried nearly 10 colleges in Bangalore for to admission, and everywhere I was rejected because of my certificates, identities. And finally, I got an admission in St. Joseph College because of we filed a petition in Supreme Court. On this, you would have heard about IPC section 377. So followed to with the IPC 377 section. I was one of the petitioner for that.
Wonderful.
And based on that, we also demanded for the equal opportunities for the transgender community, and we actually proposed the Supreme Court to give equal rights for the transgender community, and we also filed another petition. So that's how we got, in 2015 we got an opportunity that saying that all transgenders community should treat them as equally under the constitution.
Okay.
So that's how
This happened in which year?
2015.
Okay.
So this judgment is called as a third gender judgment. So that's how the community's identity brought in all the application as.
But don't you think that term itself is problematic?
Yes, it is a problematic. See,
because who's deciding who's first, second, and third?
See, that knowledge actually who the policy makers should need to have it actually. So I think that's how we say that there is a lack of awareness. Where people are sitting who deciding the policies, who actually sitting in the constitution level. I think they have lack of knowledge, because they should have a knowledge of that every gender, all the genders need to be treated as equally.
Right.
So what their context is, like, first gender is man, second gender is women, and the third genders are the transgender. So actually we have a difference of opinion on that also, because we will say that why not transgender can become a first gender, why can't a women can be a first gender. But first of all, my opinion is that nobody should take the first gender, second gender, third gender. We all human beings. All the genders need to be treated equally. So that's how I see that. But I think there is a need to be create a lot of awareness for the people who's sitting in the parliament also, who's actually deciding this kind of policies. I think they need a knowledge about the sex and gender and the sexuality is awareness for them first actually.
If I may ask, what are 2 or 3 important changes that should happen in the legal space? What would that be? I mean, if you can prioritize whether it is education sector or in terms of employment, in terms of other opportunities, what 2 or 3 major changes should happen legally?
See, first thing is, now recently we have a amendment of Transgender Protection Rights Act
2019.
That was 2019 was the first act that they invented. And now we have the Amendment Act of 2026.
Okay.
So there is an amendment actually which recently the Parliament actually brought. And in this amendment actually they say that all the transgender need to undergo a medical checkup.
Okay.
So I would say medical checkup in the context of that you have to prove the panel people that you are a transgender. So I would say that this is actually, it is violating the community's dignity. So I think this law need to be changed, because we are here to
no other gender is asked to do that.
Exactly. And when in 2019 actually, when you see that that act, it is talking about your self-identification. So we always prefer to be in a self-identified. So see, actually sexuality is also has its own flexibility, and gender also, it has its own flexibility. It can actually have its own terms, and it can have its own identity. So that means people should actually identify self, that what their identity it should be. So that actually I want this kind of law need to be implemented. Rather you undergo for a medical checkup, all those things. So I think the whole, if I see in the legal context, in the law thing, I think this 2026 amendment itself
has
needs
to
to
be
be changed.
Okay.
Because apart from this law, we don't have any law for the protection of transgender people.
Yeah.
Even in the DV Act, like Domestic Violence Act, the transgenders are not involved. And even for the kind of a child sexual abuse, even in the divorce law, many law which is existence in the constitution as per that, and which is not involved with the transgender communities. Okay, so in that context, I think when the transgender protection law, we say that this is the only law where it is protecting and it is actually giving an opportunity for the transgender community. I think this need to be more consulted for the community, and it need to be drafted.
Yeah.
But this is opposely, this is against to the transgender community's willing.
Okay.
So that need to be changed.
Yeah.
And when you see in the college, when education you're talking about, I think you should give a special reservation for the transgender communities. I would say a kind of a reservation for the transgender community, and also a kind of a transgender friendly policies you should need to bring, and a kind of a grievance maintenance and grievance committees that which is transgender community is also involved with that. So all this kind of structures in the education system, you should bring it.
Okay.
Not that you just say that we are also friendly, we do a kind of pride month, we involve all. No.
Those are all cosmetic.
That is exactly, it's all a cosmetic decorative things that you people do it.
Yeah.
But when I always say that come into practical, come into practice, you start practicing, then that practicing is something like you bring the policies. So when I was doing a college also, it was not so easy for me. I was also undergone into many kind of issues. So I had been sorted out with many issues, and I have done my I have come across with that. So what about other people? Something we should protect that people also. No, it is not so easy actually.
True.
Still we face the discrimination in this society.
Yeah. So you could have easily focused only on building your career, but what made you decide that you should also empower a community? I'm coming to not just your job, but you started a movement, an organization. What exactly is your organization's interventions? What kind of work, community development work do you do with the transgender community?
See, actually, I don't know, by birth itself, I am little confident, little brave person because I have come across with many hurdles and with lot of discrimination, with lot of different struggles challenges I have faced, but I have overcome with that. And somewhere I have actually initiated with many opportunities like writing as an articles in the newspapers, and coming front with meeting the ministers in Karnataka. So all these things, people started observing that yes, Sana is having a kind of approachable kind of thing, and I think looks very confident.
Yeah.
So that's how people started having a support from me.
Yeah.
Not only the support, they were actually asking for me the guidance, and for their support, for their, like, example, if they are stuck somewhere by any kind of police issues, and people used to ask me, and they used to ask for the guidance, how to go, where to go. So I used to actually guide them, and I used to take along with me, and I used to support these communities. So that's how I started. Initially, I started building a kind of a confidence with the community people. So that trust actually I built, because I worked along with the community in the ground level itself. And I got to know that what is the exact, because as a part of a community person, I know like what are the struggles that community face. Because when I ask you, you will actually talk about, yes, they face a sexual harassment, all this, or everything. But I have personally have experienced what kind of issues that we face and what kind of challenges we actually face every day-to-day life. So that's how I see people actually died by HIV infections, and they died, and they were actually 10 days the dead body was on the roadside itself in the bushes actually. And that whole dead body, it was dried and it was decayed, and nobody had a gut to touch that body. So all these things actually it came to me like, and I saw all this. I think we should work for something for the community cause.
And you started an organization called
Swatantra.
Yeah, can you elaborate a bit of their activities?
So by these issues, I think I saw that nobody, very less organizations working for the community's advocacy work. And I felt most of the community organizations work for the HIV prevention's work only. Because we have a funding for the HIV prevention by the Karnataka government itself. Most of the organization work only on the HIV testing, condom distribution, HIV testing, condom distribution. But when you go and ask for an individual community, and if you ask you want a condom or you want a daily food, you want a ration, then the person choice was my ration and my income and my employment, my education. So I feel that these were the priority, not the condom, not the HIV priority. That way I say that that's not the first priority. It was something, it is also important, I say. But my concern is that when a person is having a education, employment, shelter, everything, then why that person will go for a sex work? Okay, so I felt that I think this person is, whatever the question is raised is, I think it is valid. So I think we should also work for the advocacy of the community and for their empowerment and for their social entitlements, what they have to get, that we should work for their thing. So that's how we started. We around some 4-5 community people. We started having a discussion with the community level, and we started this Swatantra organization. And we work for the kind of social entitlements, like example, getting a ration cards, and for the kind of
the basic needs of people.
The basic needs, because obviously a community where they don't know how to get the access of the Aadhaar card, access of the bank account, and for the PAN card, they even don't know when you open a bank account and the PAN card, you should need to be linked, and you should actually have a PAN card. But people have opened their account, but they don't have a PAN cards. So whenever the government, whenever the people go to a bank, they always say, you should link the PAN card, you should link the PAN card. That's how the communication was given. But what is the PAN card? Where do you get the PAN card? What is the application? What is the procedure? They are not aware.
In the Aadhaar card, I think we need to, the gender gets mentioned. How does that get represented for you?
See, there is, we have a male, female and transgender. For me, actually, I started, when I did my Aadhaar card, that time I enrolled as a transgender.
That option is there.
Yes, it is there. And today I changed from a transgender to a female. Because I feel that transgender is a procedure, it's a process that you go. So when you claim yourself what now as a woman. So I say, I think as I am a trans woman, so I think my document should need to have that flexibility, whatever the identity I want to. So I have a female Aadhaar card. So that we have that option.
So in a way, you meant to say that the gender is something that you eventually choose. You decide, right? So how should one address you? Because I don't know what is the gender that you have chosen, because that also leads to a lot of conflicts in the conversation.
Correct.
Right? So how do I know the gender or your identity before even beginning a conversation?
See, I think it's better to ask.
Okay.
So I think when people actually today the society.
But don't you think people might take it offensive also?
I think no, actually, because we have the whole community has that awareness because we have undergone many experiences such actually. Because when you pick a phone and people say, "Hi, sir," they will say, because I prefer not sir, I prefer as a madam, I prefer as she and her. So that's my pronoun.
Right.
So I want that because my voice might sound kind of a differently, but people, it's not a mistake that people it won't come in the phone all it only in Truecaller the names will be coming. The pronoun everything will not come. So I think we should develop that also in the Truecaller, or so we should need to bring that application. But I think it's not a mistake of the people because they judge. It's already framed in the society that a soft, slow voice are the feminine and the rough and hard tone voice is a male. So this structure already it has framed and it has been published in the society. So obviously people, if you hear a kind of a very loud voice, people say that hello sir. If you even a male has a feminine slow hello sir, if he slows his voice then people say madam. So in that case I think it's our responsibility also for us to tell the people you can actually acknowledge saying our pronoun is she and her, and you can call me as Sana or you can call me as madam, not as a sir. So it's our responsibility as well because there is a lack of awareness in the society also. So equal responsibility to tell and to share that what pronoun.
Tell and even to ask.
Ask and tell.
Right.
That both we have to do.
So now that you have an organization called Swatantra, at the same time, you're also the HR in the recruitment. So in the recruitment space, what are the kind of interventions that you've done? Plus, you might have also been, I think, while going through your profile, I saw that you are a part of the committee for forming policies as well, right? So what are some of those interventions, one, in your organization, and two, in the legal policies that you've been part of?
See, actually, you can see recently there are a lot of developments have taken place.
Right.
So, because earlier, 10 or 50, 20 years before, there was very difficult for the community survivals. And even coming open up of their identity was also very challenging earlier. So today people you can see into different sectors, at least one or two people coming openly and hiring the communities also and people taking that opportunity into different sectors also. That is something you can see, not a bigger change, but at least there is a sort of development taking place.
Right. But I'll tell you a recent experience. I was a part of a board of studies for I'm not taking the name, and I suggested diversity, equity and inclusion and belongingness. And then everyone started looking at each other. Sir, should we teach this in undergraduate? It will become little problematic. Students will ask questions to which we might become uncomfortable. I said, we need to. Because these are not things which are alien for us.
Correct.
In the corporate space, diversity, equity and inclusion and belongingness is something that is celebrated today.
Exactly.
Like companies like Google, Apple, they have these policies.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's how I, when I start my career into mainstream organizations in corporate companies, as an HR recruiter, I was very active bringing the policies because I was actually representing the whole community to bring that inclusion in their policies. So that's how I was very active.
So how does this benefit the transgender community? Like, is it in recruitment?
Recruitment and also on the HR benefits. Like an example on the medical benefits, like if the transgender is undergoing for for the sex reassignment
Surgery.
See, we will not have the maternity paternity leaves all, because we want different things, like example for the sex reassignment surgery, hormone therapy surgeries, breast implantations. So these areas we actually need the benefits from the medical this thing. So that kind of aspects I brought, and we had added into inclusions into the current policies, and also getting the space more
Gender
inclusively, like example having separate toilets for the trans communities, for the third gender communities. They have actually have a separate gender toilets, like how even for the disabilities they have a toilets, like that we have a separate toilet.
Okay. Is that also a part of the policy decision in the government?
Yes. In the government we don't have. Actually, this is a corporate people policy that they have.
By the way, I didn't ask, which organization are you currently working?
I work for a GE Aerospace company.
Okay.
So this is a company which actually given a good opportunity for me to work, and I have completed my 5 years working experience in the same organization. And one thing I will say, my appearance also made enough of changes, because presenting in the campus, I think that also kind of inclusion that that makes a lot of changes. People see me, and that
it gets normalized.
Exactly, that acceptance, that normalized. Today a person sees, and tomorrow the person sees, and third day that becomes normal. And if some other, also there is a kind of a Pride Month celebrations happening, and inviting the whole community organizations and inviting representatives and organizing a kind of awareness sessions. And I take personally that awareness sessions and talking. See, that is something I feel that it's an opportunity for me.
True.
Every space, like you have any kind of a discussions, be it on the policies, be it on the kind of sexual harassment committee, grievance committee, ICC committee, wherever you go, you talk, people are actually talk in the context of women, in the context of a man, only these things they will talk. But when I am presently lively present, I bring that.
Right.
So I think that is very important, because people actually represent, but always they have their own boundaries.
But I also have this feeling that many of these policy decisions are in papers.
That's true.
And many of them celebrate probably a Pride Month, and then it's over.
See, that is the reason I'm saying having a policy and having kind of celebrations is also okay. But I want people also to be present lively in their campuses, in their companies, so that they will be a watch for everything. Is the policy is implementing? If not implemented, I think someone to voice out. So I think if any kind of a person who's actually working over there, and same community is also involved over there, I think they will have a kind of a support systems. So that is the reason I always say this corporate companies give opportunity for the transgender community, and give opportunity for the sexual minority communities, for the whole community, so that their visibility is also important. At the same time, they will take care of these things, like if the Pride Month is happening properly, is there for the namesake they are doing, or it is actually happening properly. So I think people will actually observe, and we will voice out for that.
Right. One of the things which I felt is misconceptions which one might have. I'm asking this also because you are into recruitment. And at the stage of recruitment, or at the stage of employment, what are some of the common misconceptions that you have when because of the policy, a company is forced to take up LGBTQ the representations? What are some of the misunderstandings, if I may ask?
See, misunderstanding is on their capacities. Like, see, skills and the capacities, I say. Like, people always either they will give opportunity on the sympathy based oneness, and also
You don't need sympathy. You need an accommodation.
but actually people will actually that will be there sympathy. They will say it is I'm not giving any sympathy, but at the same thing they will also hire some people, they will hire in sympathy. And another thing is that they will have a policy for the inclusion thing,
Right.
that inclusion, diversity, all those things. For that namesake they will also hire, and they will hire, and that's all. But there will be a no growth. Personally, I say there will be no growth.
Yeah.
See, one thing is that you should see a personal growth, and
Right.
you should actually build your skill, your capacity also. And people actually should, the whoever the company is hiring also should look on the what the person's skill is.
Yeah.
And
So what you meant to say is they do it for compliance, not with the genuine interest of empowerment.
Exactly, that's true. Because see, you many what I have heard is like many people have hired, and they actually drop out within a year or 6 months or 8 months. Why? Because this is a reason. Because they don't see any growth.
So you've been associated with several policy conversations, legal advocacy efforts. What have you learned in that process in terms of changing the law and changing the mindset? What significant changes has happened? Of course, you did mention about 2019, and then you mentioned about 2026 amendment.
See, actually, earlier, if you see, our style of advocacy work was only protesting, rally, shouting,
Yeah.
and kind of these were the kind of activism community used to have it.
Right.
But what happened is like when this IPC section 377 actually it really had a bad experience imposing on the community, and people were actually literally communities were being arrested, and they were put into a jail, central jails, and they were being discriminated, and a lot of violence happened. And so that's how we got to know that if you want to counter this, I think you should go legally.
Right.
You should actually experience filing a petitions, and you have to go to high courts, you have to go to a Supreme Courts. So then only people will hear it, and that paper and that legal changes and that include articulations will actually play a big role, and actually that will be impactful very much.
Right.
So that's how in 2009 actually we filed in a high court. So that high court actually it gave a good judgment. Actually, it had a very inclusive judgment saying that IPC section it can be a consensual.
Okay.
But at the same time, the religious people, what they did, they filed a petition in a Supreme Court.
Okay.
So that's how the challenges started, combating between you, me, kind of, that you go file in High Court, you go file in a writ petition in a Supreme Courts, and that's how we started to know what is the knowledge of legal. And that's how finally we got a good success in 2015 that the Supreme Court actually gave a judgment saying that consensual between the two adults is not a criminal.
Okay.
So it's a good judgment. So that's how I got that kind of something good idea that something with the protesting rally. Along with that, we also need to work as a paper thing, and also filing a petition. I think legally we have to go, and that way also it's very important.
Yeah.
That's how we build our own knowledges with the legal knowledges, and we actually started practicing as a paralegal volunteers.
Okay.
So we are not a proper lawyers, but we will act as a lawyers.
Yeah.
Like we will have an awareness of the laws and the sections, everything we will have that knowledge, and we will get to know what is the procedures of filing a petitions, read petitions, and whom to approach, way to approach, all this kind of steps we learned. And that's how we started moving from a different this thing. And also same thing, we also filed in High Court of Karnataka for the employment reservation, and that's how we have a 1% reservation in Karnataka.
Okay.
And we also filed a petition in this High Court, Karnataka High Court. Also, the same thing. By this, the Supreme Court guided saying that all the states should form a kind of need to generate transgender policies, and also they should bring a welfare boards for the transgender community welfares. So that's how the channelizing actually day by day it started developing, and we actively taking participations in this kind of
Even though it
programs.
is slow, it is very steady and stable.
But actually we were taking participations.
Great.
So the participations actually was very important. So that's how we started actively being very active in drafting a Karnataka transgender policy in 2006-17. And so that we have everything we brought. That's how our initiatives that we have done. But implementing is actually we don't have any power to implement, but only we have to force the government. We always tell the government, see this, we need you, please implement this. Implement the execution part is under the government itself. So that's how we are actually lacking over there, the executive and that kind of service to the community. Actually we are still facing challenges on it.
Right. But if I may ask, how do we measure the kind of success or the growth of inclusivity in education, in employment, in the community itself? On what basis can we measure it?
See, what I will see is that now I think this is not the stage to measure. This is something you say it is started with zero. So the initiative has been taken. So the initiative has taken, and I think it's more way to go.
Yeah.
That people have to bring many things, because if you see in whole Karnataka, only one transgender is studying. So that doesn't have any kind of this thing.
Larger impact it still has not.
That is not having. But I will say that initiatives have been taken place, and the development is actually taking place. But I think we have to go way forward for the more work. I think still there is a begging is happening, still sex work is happening, still transgender face of discrimination, rape is happening, murder is happening. Everything is at the same stage level only. But we are initiating, we are stepping forward, and we are fighting and going it further. But there is a challenge. I think I will say, I think don't measure at this stage, because we have initiated. I think rightly you said also we have to measure. That also, that stage also need to come.
It has to come. And today's generation, I think, before we close, today's generation I feel is more informed. They are more aware, and they are more accepting than the previous generation. What I'm saying. So yet a lot of confusion still exists. So what do you wish every young adult or even adults should understand about gender, should understand about identity, or more importantly, to understand about human dignity?
See, one thing is, I say that inclusive is very important in all the sectors. I think when in education, employment, every sectors, I think one thing is inclusive. I think bring out the inclusive into practical, like not in the papers. I think start implementing it and bring the communities as a part of the mainstream. And I think a lot of awareness you have to create.
A lot more of conversation.
Exactly, conversation. I think a lot of materials need to bring out. Like example, people have now the current trend is like you have a lot of social medias. I think bring positive about the
Narratives.
communities
Yeah.
and positive success things for the communities. I
Yeah.
think that part, I think it will make a larger impact on the upcoming the adults and the
Yeah.
youths, I think. And also I would, from my personal for the my own community, if I want to say, I think my community should actually get lot of educations. Actually they need to get into the education sectors, and they should take that opportunities, because we have 1% reservation in the employment. I think that opportunity they should actually get make use of it.
Yeah.
And also we need to fight for the reservation for the education, and I think education is a basic fundamental right.
But is that 1% enough?
No, at least someone should come forward to take that 1%, because until you don't come forward, I think people will also, they will say tomorrow, government will say, oh, nobody is coming and taking that 1%. I think we will make it 0.1. What if that happens?
Right. So if all references to gender disappeared once, I mean, it's just an imaginary kind of a scenario. What is it, the identity that you are really proud of, that you would want to be known for?
I am very proud. Always I say my identity, like people should look me as a human being identity.
Okay.
That is very important. See, even again, if you claim as a woman, that is also, even first of all, that is also a challenge only, because still women are fighting for their rights.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should start seeing themselves as a human being.
Yeah.
So then apart from gender or a kind of identities or whatever, I think we are first human being, then comes your gender, because society already it has been structured. So then I think if you want to fit yourself, then I think I will fit myself as a woman, first human being and then as a woman.
And looking back, what is your, probably there are several milestones that you've had, one most proud moment or the proudest moment in your life that you really are is confident to speak about?
So I will say my proudest moment is that I graduated in my college, actually, I will
Wonderful.
say. Because the day the people invited me on the stage and they honored me the certificate, I will say, because I proved the whole society that society what they have thought is wrong.
Yeah.
And I proved my college also, because they had that dilemma also, the kind of whether she will do or she will not do, she will continue, she will not continue, she will cope up, she will not cope up. So I have breaked all this kind of a stereotyped of notion. I breaked and I challenged and proved it, and I succeed studying there for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's my challenge, and I proved, and immediately I got my opportunity to work in a corporate company. So that's how I say that, because with a lot of challenges, struggle, discriminations, and with lack of opportunities, I filed a petition in Supreme Court. From Supreme Court, you have the judgment, and taking that judgment and going to the college. And that opportunity, what you got is not,
You fought for it.
Exactly. I struggled for that opportunity and I succeeded at that. So that I feel that day that I finished, I graduated and I came. So I proudly say that I am a Josephite student and people are very happy actually at that moment. And I made a path. I created a way for the other communities. And I removed all this kind of stereo notions already, which was existing in that college. So that's very happy day that I will say that I am proud of that.
And if you are okay sharing, how is your relation with your family now? Your parents, your siblings, or probably the ones who have ill-treated you in your,
See, earlier it was very challenging for my parents also to accept me, because there's a lack of awareness. And when they saw I was standing next to a chief minister, and there was a picture, an article published in a newspaper, and my parents, my aunt brought this newspaper and gave it to my mother. So that actually for her, she felt that it's a proud moment for her. In my family, nobody had a gut to, or nobody had a chance to meet a chief minister. My son has done this, and I think she is doing a good work, I think so. So that's how actually the day created a space in my family, and they accepted me. And initially they used to tell me to cover your face and come in night, and going in night, it was not so easy actually, because men used to harass, because people think that, oh, some girl is going in at midnight. So that challenge was, it was very difficult actually. And later on, I also thought that let me challenge this also. One fine day they will accept me. So that's how they accepted me as a daughter. And they proudly say that this is my daughter. Because I don't know, because of my professional they have accepted, or because somehow they accepted. I made them to accept. So that kind of changes I brought, and today I'm with my family also. And it's good going, and family have accepted, but there is that kind of small discrimination is also still there. But it's okay, that also one fine day it will
vanish. Maybe when history looks back in another 10 years or 15 years, what change would make you extremely happy, and what would make you feel worthwhile, that you fought for it, you gained it, you achieved it, you set milestones, you opened pathways for several others to get inspired and follow your path or do something more revolutionary in their lives?
So I will say that if I am seeing, I think as I will see that as now how people saying that as a third gender, or as a transgender, people say a transgender student have achieved all these terms, that what they are using. I think it should be normalizing. Like example, if I go get an admission, I think I should get as my self-identified, like what if I claim myself as a woman, I think people should accept me as a woman. And I think that gender thing itself, it should need to be removed. Like it should be like normalizing, like a person should have that all privilege to choose their own gender, or their choices of their gender. I think by achieving by with their own gender, I think that is something we see that kind of changes. And I think carrying this kind of label of transgender, I think don't make it as a special also. And don't make it as something different also. I think make it more inclusive, more kind of flexibility, because some people, oh, you are a transgender, I think we should give a separate space, a kind of separate reservation. I think that's something, I think 50 years I'm saying, like it should be generalized and normalized thing. And like you taking like in education sector, employment, I think all main community people should also need to take that opportunities. They should rule it actually. I think that's how, example, in a parliament also, people should actually occupy, take that opportunity and talk for and represent the whole communities. That kind of changes, I think people should really need to look on. That kind of changes I'm seeing it actually.
What is insightful for me, or what is so satisfying for me in this conversation, is not that you had overcome all the obstacles. For me, what you have done by transforming, or the collective progress that you brought in, both with your education, your employment, with the organization which you have set up, is something which was truly inspirational. I, on behalf of Truecopythink, would like to thank you.
Thank you.
I would also say more powers to you.
Thank you so much.